Every scar tells a story. This one's about the time I learned to heal. The rest of them, they're about the time I learned to fight. I got scars on my knuckles from fighting for my name. Scars on my soul from playing the losing game. Scars on my heart from people I trusted most. Scars on my voice from screaming at a ghost that never answered back, that never even flinched. I was a soldier in a war that I never even cinched. A belt around my waist to hold the pieces in, but pieces don't stay together when the fight begins. I wore my pain like armor, I wore it like a coat. Every cut was a reminder, every bruise a note that said you're still standing, you're still breathing, you're still here. And every scar I earned became a souvenir of battles that I won and battles that I lost. But the cost of every wound was worth the frost that settled on my skin and made me tough enough to realize that scars are proof that you're not soft. Scar tissue, covering the wounds. Every cut is a chapter in the book of my cartoons. I was drawn in tragedy, colored in the pain, but the scar tissue is the armor that I wear out in the rain. Scar tissue, holding me together. Every stitch is a story, every wound is a tether to the person I was before the blade. Now the scar tissue is the price that I paid. I remember the first time I bled, I was 5 years old. Fell off my bike, scraped my knee. The story was told by my mother who kissed it better, who said you'll be fine. But the scar stayed and became a permanent design on my skin, on my memory, on the way I'd see the world as a place that would always cut me if I wasn't careful, if I wasn't quick, if I wasn't ready for the next trick. Life was a blade and I was the target. Every smile was a promise that was quickly retracted. I learned to wear the scars like badges of honor. Every wound was a sermon, every scar was a donor of strength that I didn't know I possessed. I was a survivor in a world that professed that the weak would fall and the strong would rise. So I collected every scar and I wore them as disguise. Do you know what it feels like to be covered in scars? To look in the mirror and see a map of all the wars. I used to hate them, I used to hide them. Now I wear them like a uniform. Now I'm proud of them because scars aren't weakness. Scars are proof, proof that you survive, proof that you move through the fire, through the flood, through the blood and the tears. Scars are the language of someone who has no fear. So here's the part where I stop hiding the damage. I'm not a broken thing that needs to be managed. I'm a tapestry of everything I've survived. Every scar is a line that says I'm still alive. I don't hide them anymore, I don't cover them up. Every mark on my skin is a sip from the cup of pain that I drank and turned into power. Every scar is a flower that blooms in the shower of tears that I cried and the blood that I shed. Every scar is a story that I've learned to read, not as a weakness, not as a flaw, but as a reminder that I broke the law of gravity that said I fall and stay down. I got up every time and I wore the crown of scar tissue that covered the king. Now I'm still standing and I'm still here to sing. Scar tissue, I'm wearing them with pride. Every cut is a chapter, every wound is a ride that I took to get where I'm standing now. And the scar tissue is the reason I know how. Scar tissue, you can't break what's already been broken. Every stitch is a story that's already been spoken. I'm not ashamed of the map on my skin. The scar tissue is the proof that I win. They said scars were ugly. They said scars were weakness. They were wrong. Scars are